up, everyone? Kaiji Okami here at Kumoricon 2021 with
Cruellica Kain,
and we are interviewing
Kira Buckland.
And for those who might not know who you are, what voices have you done before?
So I am 2B in Nier Automata, that's the really big one. I am Reimi in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable. I am Setsuna in Yashahime, Rebecca in Eden Zero, Talim in Soul Calibur 6, Falk in Street Fighter 5, Kirumi and Hyoko in the Danganronpa franchise, and a whole bunch of others.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, at least you haven't been bored.
That's true. I certainly haven't. You know, it's like I know a lot of people, work slowed down for them during the pandemic, but I feel like in our industry, I've been fortunate that I'm working more than I ever have in my life, which is strange to think.
So have you had to have like a closet booth? Like what Wendy Paul told us that she had to have a closet booth to do voice acting work.
Well, some people use closets. I have a full-on booth that I luckily bought before any of this went down, just because I already did a lot of work for independent clients from home and things like that. So I already had a booth set up just for like those sorts of things. And then when we started doing like our anime and our games and stuff from home, when all this hit, I felt like prepared with that. I had to upgrade a bunch of other stuff, but having the booth was a huge help.
So you mentally prepared for everything?
Well, I don't think anyone was mentally prepared.
Well, what have you done to help yourself stay sane working from home more frequently than what you would have done in the past?
Well, I have 5 cats, so that, you know, that is generally a good thing. Sometimes they are very naughty. Sometimes they're messy. You know, I like to get out and play Pokemon Go. I think that's like a huge thing because I don't want to be in my house all day, you know, and I go out and get my coffee and catch Pokemon and all that kind of stuff.
So the one thing I love about your Twitter is you proudly say coffee drinker, cat mom, and stand user.
Yeah.
So you are first and foremost a woman after my own heart, because I am, well, except for the coffee really, hot chocolate would be in place of it. I am all of the above. I love cats, I love JoJo, so the stand user was like epic for me. So in looking at your Twitter, just to kind of get to know you a little bit more, I love all of your pictures of your cats. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to want to be a cat mom? Because I think that's important. People have pets, but it's very few that really treat them like their family.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a lot more, like there's more of a cat parent culture now, which is great. I'm in some cat groups and stuff like that. I always grew up around cats, so I feel very fortunate. I had cats like literally starting from when I was a baby. My mom found pictures where I'm like a little baby chasing after a cat, and it's like, yeah, it started young. So I know some people who didn't grow up around cats, they maybe don't like cats or they're not used to cats, but you know, I grew up around them, and so I've always been used to having cats in the house. And then when I moved to California, I just sort of like, I got like my first cat, and then I just kept accumulating more cats. And I didn't even intend to have 5 cats, right? It's just like there were 2 instances where people dumped a cat on us that we were like gonna be cat sitting or, you know, whatever, and they just became ours because they never came back for them. And then there's like, you know, our newest one, he was a feral that when I moved into my condo, he was outside and just like, you know, this poor little thing, right? So we started feeding him, and then he eventually came in, and he got along really well with my cats, and yeah, they're so cute.
I love it. And I love on your website, you actually mentioned in your FAQ about like what charities you donate to or how to encourage people. And the one thing that you mentioned that was a passion for me as well is the kitten rescue, which I think is so important, and not just as an anime fan, but just as a human being, because there's so many dog rescues out there, and dogs are just as important.
Sure.
But to see something for kitten rescue or those kitten or those cat geared charities, I love that you profoundly said that's like important. And what made you get into something like that?
Well, I actually used to work at a kitten nursery, and I did like neonatal care, like giving meds, bottle feeding, all that kind of stuff. I fostered at one point while I was working there, and so, you know, I'm really passionate about cat rescue because there's so many unwanted cats. Not, I don't want to say unwanted because all cats are very special, but you know, cats that don't have homes, that don't have a place to go, and you know, it's so important that there are programs out there that can trap, neuter, return, that can, you know, find homes, find foster homes, all that kind of stuff. So, and a lot of these organizations, they just really need a lot of funds to keep running because cats are expensive. You know, the medical care alone is so much. You have all the food, all the supplies, like there's just a lot. So, you know, especially when most of these are run entirely on donations. So I'm just really passionate about like supporting you know, if I ever have a chance to like do something for charity, I always try to choose a cat rescue. I have a couple like art prints of my cats that I bring to cons, and they are also on my online store, and I will donate half the proceeds from those to cat rescue. So yeah.
I just think that's so important because a lot of people forget in nerd culture that there's so much more beyond what we do. So I always like to highlight that because we all have a chance to give back to the community, so why not take advantage of it? And having yourself, who is a representative in the voice acting community, kind of champion something, I think is a great platform to have because it inspires people to do more.
Yeah.
So I just want to say on behalf of us, thank you very much for showcasing that.
Of course.
Yeah, we love to participate when we're at conventions, the charity auctions and everything that go around. Like every year I would try to buy some figures around clearance and donate them Toys for Tots at Christmas time.
Yeah, my mom does that too.
We're old, so that's what we do.
What's the craziest thing one of your cats has ever done?
Oh, okay, so Jareth, my pumpkin spice cat, the very fluffy, big boy, big chunky boy, one year, I think it was November 2019, so it was like 2 years ago at this point, he jumped down from the top of my booth because he could get up there, but like he doesn't know how big he is, so he would kind of crash into things. He jumped and crashed into the TV, and the TV fell over and broke, and it fell onto my roommate's PlayStation, and that broke too, and then the PlayStation fell down and fell on my roommate's laptop and broke that as well.
Oh wow, so a nice little mountain of
Domino.
tragedy.
So there was like thousands of dollars worth of damage. I had to help them pay for it.
Oh wow, I can only imagine because many of my cats have done that over the years, but just watching the like Murphy's Law happen again and again and again.
It's always the expensive stuff. They don't go for the cheap stuff.
Oh no, they never go for the cheap stuff. And they also go for medical damage too when they can get their chances. No, I love that because I remember one time my cat fell right on my mom's head, which was fun and stretched all down her face. I was like, I love you, Mom. I love my cat. Please don't kill my cat. So have they ever been impromptu stars in any of your recordings while you're going through the process?
I don't think they've been in any finished projects, as cool as that would be. I've definitely had situations where I'm recording an audition or something, and, you know, one of them is yelling outside. And then we also have this other because we have a lot of feral cats that live kind of outside the building, and we put food out for them and stuff. So there's the one that comes in and, you know, is basically our cat now. Like, I count him as one of ours. But there's this other one that's really mean and angry all the time, and he just sits outside our door and screams all day long. And we're like, you have food. What do you want? And he's like, ah, ah, just all day long. And so sometimes I'll hear him in my recording, like, trying to do an audition, just like, ah, ah, and I'm like, what do you want?
I think that is so awesome. It'd be cool if you ever had like that little Easter egg in a finished product, having like a cat in the background meowing.
I would love that. Yeah, I want to have like my cat's likeness in a game too. I think that would be really cool.
Mod the cat skin in there.
Yeah.
So I guess another nerdy question is how you got into JoJo's. Obviously you're in Diamond is Unbreakable, and you're the ghost girl.
Yes.
Which is always fascinating whenever I watch those episodes because I'm like, I love her, but I also love the fact that she helps kill Kira, so you gotta take it. But what got you into JoJo's?
So I think it was kind of one of those things where I had some friends who would talk about it and go on about it. See, now I'm that friend.
Yes.
But I had some friends who would definitely like go on and on about it, and they were like, you gotta watch it and this and this, and I thought, oh, it doesn't really seem like my thing, you know what, it's like muscular men beating each other up, you know, probably not my thing or whatever, but, you know, and I had kind of like fallen out of watching that much anime at that point because like I wasn't really into some of the genres that were really popular at the time. And they were like, well, why don't you try something new? So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And, you know, it's like I watched part 1 and I was kind of like, okay, yeah, not bad. And then part 2 and I was like, okay, this is getting pretty good. Part 3 was not animated yet at the time, but I was like, I want some more. And they're like, oh, read the manga. You gotta read the manga. So then I read the manga, and the rest is history.
Well, that's how it kind of started for her, because we had some friends that would talk about it, and I'm like, we hear words. And so she got into it, and I'm a One Piece fan, so I want to wait till One Piece ends before I try something else.
Well, good luck.
Because I'm like, okay, I did a Demon Slayer because it's already over. I did Attack on Titan because it's over. But I don't want to do any ongoing series until there's a definitive conclusion.
Well, part 8 just finished, so.
Yes, so it's pretty close. I know there's going to be a part 9, but.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But I saw on your website when you talked about your dream role, it would be to play Jolene.
Yeah.
And now Stone Ocean is coming to Netflix. I haven't seen any casting. Obviously, you couldn't talk about even if you could. But are you excited to see Stone Ocean now that's going to be on television animated?
Oh yeah, I mean when I first, cause I watched that like stream where they, you know, everyone was like, are we getting part 6? Is that happening? And so like I watched, I think it was at like midnight or something in California, right? So everybody was like watching it, and you know, it was just like they did the whole program. We're like, well, guess we're not getting an announcement. Okay, but it was like $40 to watch the stream, you know, so we're just like, okay, well, and then they did the ending where they showed like all the different logos for all the parts, and then they paused, and it's like, we saw the butterfly.
Oh, yes. No, I'm so super excited, not only for Jolene, but also to have Jotaro back.
Yeah, I think like my tweets from that day when they first like said that it was getting animated were just like keyboard mashing, you know.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm super stoked for the next part, and I haven't seen anything for the English cast, but I'm definitely voting for you when an English cast is announced.
Oh, thank you. Well, that would be a dream, so.
It would be great to be a part of something that you're such a fan of, too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really fortunate, actually, that I was in 3 parts of JoJo, technically, because in part 3, I was, like, one of the girls in the beginning that's like, JoJo! And then they're, like, arguing with each other. And, of course, there's Reimi in part 4. And then in part 5, I was, like, one of the ice cream girls in one of the scenes with Doppio.
Really? Yes.
And the little girl on the plane with Doppio as well, being like, are you going to give my phone back? So I just thought it was really cool that they kept bringing me in to do like little parts and stuff.
Absolutely. So hopefully you'll be in the rest of the JoJo series, and if they ever redub parts 1 and 2.
Like I'll just be a random person in the background. That's cool.
Speaking of redubbing, is there a character that from a series that has already been done that you wish you could do?
Oh yeah, I mean I would have loved to be some iteration of Asuka from Evangelion.
She is my favorite character.
She's one of the only 2 characters I actually like.
Like my roommate is Shinji in the Netflix dub, so
that's awesome.
It would be cool if like both of us somehow got to be part of that franchise and like different, you know, there's been like different dubs of it and stuff.
There's been too many dubs of it.
Yeah.
So I guess outside of anime or anything like that, what type of movies do you like?
I don't have time to watch a ton of movies, but when I do, I mean, I guess I could say like I like psychological thrillers. Like I'm not much for like jump scares and stuff, but I love things that make you like think about things and that are just very unsettling, I guess you could say. Like, I mean, I know this is like a TV series and not a movie, but I really enjoyed Black Mirror just because of how much it's like, oh, this is already happening, a lot of these things.
Well, absolutely. I think the one that scared me because of its reality is the one that Miley Cyrus was in, where it was that little like robot that was becoming like this big singer. And I was like, wow, I could see that happening. And there were so many episodes of Black Mirror that were like that.
Yeah.
So no, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big psychological person. If you haven't seen it, check out The Night House.
Okay.
It came out earlier this year with Rebecca Hall in it, because that it has psychological elements, and it feels like a 40s movie set with modern day.
Oh, nice. I love like that kind of stuff.
So I would love for them to actually put that one in black and white when they release it on 4K, do a black and white version. So finishing up, where can people find you online?
If you just search for me on Twitter, you can just find me. It's just my name. I'm not on Instagram very much, but my Instagram is Killer Coffee Queen. I mostly just post pictures of my cats and other cats I encounter. And those are pretty much the two things I use with any frequency. And then I run a website / Discord server called the Voice Acting Club. So that's always what I recommend for people who maybe want to get into voice acting, want tips on kind of how to like get started, connecting with other people who have similar goals with them. Because our Discord server has over 15,000 members.
Oh, wow.
Obviously they're not all active, but it still is really cool. I write a ton of free articles and resources. So, you know, sometimes if people are like, hey, I want to know more about like the business side of how can I start my own business for voiceover and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of things you have to think about, you know, in addition to the acting technique. There's technical, there's this and that. So I write a lot of articles, and then we have the server, and we do like we bring in different like industry guests to do like Q&As where our members can ask them stuff, and you know, we just try to have like a lot of resources for people who are either already doing this, want to do this, or content creators looking to collaborate with voice actors on their projects.
No, I think that's great, and I really love your website, not just for the JoJo's references, but also because you have a lot of
It's very energetic.
it's very energetic, and you have a lot of wealthy details that talk about how you got into the industry, what you're looking for in the industry, and different things like that, because that's a common question I think anybody has is, how did you get in the industry? How have you made it successful? What do you like about the industry? And I like how you have that there for everyone's viewing so that they can get to know you a little bit more and get to know what you do. And I like how you mentioned the video voice acting club, because I saw that on your website as well. And I heard that you revived it in 2016.
Yeah, because we used to have like a web forum back in the day when that was kind of the popular thing, and we tried like bringing back like making a new forum and creating the community again in 2016. But you know, forums were kind of not people's preferred. You know, again, we were talking about how it's like, okay, we're like old, you know, because that was the thing. But then everyone's like, oh, all the kids these days are using Discord. You guys should make a Discord server, all that kind of stuff. So in like 2018. Put together the Discord server, and it just grew from there, because that's kind of like people want that instant chat, that instant method of communication. They can, you know, type a question, and somebody somewhere in the world, because we have server members from all over the world, somebody will see it and be like, well, here's what I think, and you know, this and that.
Well, I like that collaboration element, because the one thing I've noticed being, well, I'm not a teacher, I'm in human resources professionally, so everyone likes that connection and likes to feel valued, which Discord certainly does, because it allows people to feel valued for their opinions.
Yeah, and I think it also helps people realize that they're not alone in what they're feeling, because I also write articles about the mental health aspect of the business. I think that stuff is really important to talk about, because, you know, people go on the server and say things like, hey, I feel kind of discouraged because I feel like everyone around me is succeeding and surpassing me, and I feel like I'm like stagnating and I'm not achieving my goals. And it's like, these are normal feelings. Like everybody feels, you know, even like people who are like considered successful feel that kind of thing. Or they worry about like, oh, like I'm not working much this month or whatever. So, you know, just acknowledging that these feelings are human, or that, you know, dealing with things like envy is human, or, you know, we talk about, like I have a big article on rejection and why it's not actually rejection, because that's something that people don't, you know, it gets people when they first are like, I've submitted for like 100 projects and I maybe booked like 2, and I'm like, well, that's normal, that's fine. Like, we're all just submitting for stuff all the time, and we book a small fraction of it. So, but people don't always realize until they connect with other people and they see like, okay, this is actually something that is very normal and expected.
No, and I think that's great, and I think it's important, and I really appreciate the fact that you do that, because people, like you said, are so stuck in that isolation and in their own head, they don't think that other people are feeling the same way, and it gives people an outlet.
Yeah, so important.
Any final thoughts for our viewers?
Adopt a cat if you are at a point where you reasonably can take good care of it.
Absolutely.
Even better, adopt 2 cats so they can have each other.
No, I'm a believer of that, so thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, bye.